let me present to you the 4 crises first. Crisis number 1 is the pandemic crisis. We talk about it. But the second crisis is the one that is really worrisome. And I'm going to switch over my screen and let you take a look. It's called the Israel-Palestine crisis. Happening right now. It is huge. First, we're going to dive in to understand where is this happening, right at Gaza Strip. Number 2, what is this thing called the Iron Dome? And number 3, why is there so much unhappiness among the Arabs and the Jews? And once we dive into this very sensitive topic, I want to encourage you to take a balanced approach. Step 1, please do not take any sides. Do not take any sides. Just go in with an open mind. See from both sides of the picture. Do not take any sides, because there's no end to this. We can only solve this crisis if all of us don't take sides. This has been the longest time in history. We are not in any position to comment, but I need you all to know how this thing started to play out and will permeate perhaps into a situation, we call it the brink of war. So step 1, we look at this place called Gaza Strip. So this is the map. But more importantly, out of step 1, I need to bring you right into the turf. The real turf where all these things is happening. And here we go. I'm going to switch over right now. What we need to do is starting from planet Earth, understanding the world that we live in. Alright, so I'm running on Google Earth, and I taught you guys this step before, but don't just watch the TV and read the news. Go and dive deep to see the ground. So step 1, we look for this place called Gaza Strip. Google Earth will bring us right to the place where there are rockets flying right now as we are speaking. This is what we call the Gaza Strip. And then once you arrive at this part here, starting from this parameter, we go down to this parameter, right over here, right over here, right over here, and right over here. All right. So this is a very large place, just about the size of Singapore, but smaller. And let me give you the dimension of this place first, and then you understand how it's going to have a direct impact on us. So here we go. I'm going to lead you to this place here called the Gaza Strip crisis, or the Israel-Palestine crisis. Here we go. This is the latest as published on Wikipedia. You can search for 2021 Israel-Palestine crisis. Started on 6th of May. 1 week, 1 day has passed. And of course, you can read the backdrop behind it. All right. Now, what you want to do from here is that you want to go to this place on the previous page called the Gaza-Israel conflict. This is the place to study the origin of this conflict between Palestine and Israel. And again, I remind all of us, do not take sides. Just understand it from an investor perspective. Now, if I click on this map, then you know it's really a small strip of land, 20 kilometers. Let me give you the reference point to that. Singapore is east to west, 50 kilometers, north to south, 25 kilometers. So if you take a look at this, it's almost the same, all right? It's just that they got a much shorter breadth here, and the length here is about the size of Singapore, right? So I give you the context already. And then once I given you the context, then I switch back to the map. All right, so this whole place here is called Gaza. And then I zoom out. And once I zoom out, then you need to recognize who are the neighbors. So we start from Israel looking at Egypt, then Israel looking at Jordan, then you have Lebanon up there, and then you have Syria up there, and then the strip is confined to where? Please watch. Here we go. Right up here on the coastline. All right. So as we are speaking right now, there are rockets flying from the Gaza Strip into Israel. That's the start. Maybe the start, I shouldn't say it like this. I'm just telling you right now it's happening like this. And then we need to watch a very important video to understand and see firsthand what is this thing called the Iron Dome and why this was built in the first place. All right, so here we go. I switch over the screen and we're going to watch about 3 minutes. Watch it with an open mind, and here we go. So this is what you are seeing on TV every night. That's the rockets flying off. But very few get through to land on the ground because of this product called the Iron Dome. It's a defense system. So started in 2006 Israel-Lebanon war, and they were just faced with rockets after rockets. So they set it up as a defense system, and was only just tested about 10 years ago, 1 decade ago. So how does the Iron Dome system work? Let's take a look. There are 3 parts to it. So step 1, they need a radar system that can detect a missile. And this radar system will give the warning whether the rocket flying across is going to land into a populous area, whether it's going to hit citizens. So this is a step 1, the detection part. Then thereafter, step 2, they'll fire off the missile to bomb the rocket up in the sky. But the challenge right now is this. When we talk about how effective it is, according to the Israelis, they claim that there's an accuracy rate of 90%. Then there's a gap of 10%, which is about 80%. And so some of the rockets did fly through and hit civilian targets. So right now they are trying to find the Achilles heel, or call it the chink, in the system, by one shot firing hundreds to thousands at the same time, known as a saturation point, until the system cannot handle it. Okay, so I've shown you this video, and of course this video doesn't tell you the whole story about what's happening between Israel and Palestine. I think you need to read up more, watch more, and find out more. But I think this is something I wanted to show you so that you have a chance to look at what is exactly happening out there. And of course, there are many other reference points that I like to show you. One of which is this one. This is a very important article from Wall Street Journal. I think it captures the essence. So please go and take a picture of this article. What's happening and why are they fighting? And again, do not take sides. Just go in as an investor perspective to understand how all this started in the first place. All right. So once you understand this article, then we take a look at the more difficult matter to handle. And that is, there's not just an external conflict, there is an internal conflict. So this internal conflict break out between the Jews and the Arabs. So over here, I'm going to show you a video that's going to be quite sensitive. I hope you are mentally ready for it. If you are not ready for it, just do not watch, all right? There will be some scenes that are quite scary.
This Arab man was pulled from his car and beaten by right-wing Israeli nationalists. It's the first act of nationalist violence to receive direct condemnation from the Prime Minister.
Nothing justifies the lynching of Arabs by Jews or the lynching of Jews by Arabs. It's unacceptable. We will not tolerate this. This violence is not us.
The conflict can be seen etched across the skyline. Hamas unleashed a stream of rocket fire towards Israel in retaliation for the destruction of a building in Gaza by Israel. These are the most intense hostilities that the country has seen in 7 years. It is particularly bad in mixed Jewish Arab towns, with relentless rocket fire and rioting. The Palestinians' message to Israel and the Jewish settlers is loud and clear.
I address my words specifically to America and to Israel. Enough is enough. Leave us. We will remain thorns in your eyes. We will not leave our homeland. We will not leave our country.
The US maintained its support for Israel in its call for peace on Wednesday.
My expectation and hope is that this will be closing down sooner than later. But Israel has a right to defend itself when you have thousands of rockets flying into your territory.
Israel's defense was to target the Hamas militants. They say many senior commanders have been killed. But the attacks have also claimed the lives of Palestinian civilians. Neither side is showing any sign of backing down, prompting the United Nations to warn of full-scale civil war.
Okay, you heard it, and this is the second crisis that I like to address tonight. It may break out into a full-scale war because it's so sensitive right now. But we need to take a look at it to understand what is the world we are living in today. And it will just spill off because this is a very sensitive religious issue. and trace back to far back in time in history. So I'm just encouraging you, do not take any sides at all. Just understand what is happening. Just be prepared. If this goes out of control, then let me show you why this place is so sensitive. Here we go. So I'm still back on Google Earth, and I zoom out, and we are looking at two very important areas. One is right here, the Straits of Hormuz, where 40% of the oil exports have to pass through this place here. And of course, you're looking at Iran, and you're looking at Saudi Arabia. Then right now, the conflict is happening at Gaza Strip, which may spill over. And you're looking at Israel surrounded by Muslim countries all around, all right? And this is a very sensitive place. And that's the reason why it's very difficult. And if you look at recent, we face this challenge of the Suez Canal jamming up the traffic. And you know, it straight away hit everybody. So again, this is a very sensitive area. So you are looking at this region here that is just very complex. But I'm highlighting to you because anything goes wrong here, it will spill out. It will just spill over out of control. This place here, this is a very complex area to understand.